Hello, everybody. This video is about running on adrenaline. These are chaotic times. If you aren't feeling impacted by the chaos, you're one of the few. And this video may not be for you. However, if you're feeling impacted, you're in the right place. I feel it every day. A kind of baseline buzzing and nervousness, even after meditating. I'm very easily distracted these days and could, if I let myself, spend endless hours trolling the internet and social media for something to either up the anxiety or soothe the anxiety. Sometimes I do indeed indulge myself in this unhelpful waste of time. Why? Because I feel an underlying sense of urgency to do something without knowing what that something is. In fact, there are many things I can and do that are meaningful. But if my anxiety is great enough, I still feel it. The set of videos is for people who are naturally busy and can easily run on adrenaline. These times make it even more critical to find a way that works in supporting you to be your best. The thing is, the sense of urgency you feel in today's world is justified. If you tend to be a worrier, then this tendency to worry is likely to increase in today's environment. I spoke a little about this in my last video when I mentioned picking up the worry habit from my mother. It was her way of making sure that she had done everything she could to be safe and to make sure her family was safe, even if there was no immediate threat. This habit stemmed partly from the experiences she had in her life that she never fully came to terms with. I not only picked up on that sense of danger from her, but added to it from my own life experiences. Eventually, that way of being became my habitual go-to. I want to mention a few good reasons why it's good to learn to live as free of this worry as possible. First, as I said in my last video, if you worry habitually, that means your body is experiencing stress habitually. Our bodies were never meant to live constantly stressed. Stress is something wired into us so that we can physically deal with a danger, a physical danger. It changes our hormones, increases our cortisol level, shuts down certain unnecessary systems, unnecessary during times of danger, such as digestion, and prepares us physically to focus only on the danger and to physically protect ourselves from that danger. Cortisol and insulin enrich our blood, and our entire body gears up for action. This change, if persistent, can lead to diseases like heart disease and diabetes. For this reason alone, it's critical to lower our stress response level. Now, this is pretty widely known. The usual suggestion is to learn to relax, to change your work-life balance, to stop doing what you're doing and do something less stressful instead. I personally don't believe this will help. Not because it isn't a way to lower stress, but because it doesn't address the real issue, our habitual trend to worry, and to ensure we and those we care most about are always safe. If you agree, what can you do instead? What is needed is to learn to recognize when you feel stress. And once you recognize it, redirect it in order to move from stress response to physical relaxation, where our polyvagal system takes over, normalizing our hormones and physical systems to one where we can truly address what there is to address from a clear-eyed and relaxed place. The first step is to learn to notice the feeling of being stressed. What the stress feels like varies in each individual, but there are some common similarities. It may feel like a low-grade background buzzing. It may show up not as a feeling at all, but as an urgent need to eat when you're not hungry, or an urgent need to do something you really don't need to do. It may show up in other physical ways, such as being fidgety, walking faster, eating faster, being easily distracted. The best way to learn your particular way of being in stress is to remember times when you were stressed so that you can recall how that manifested inside of you. For me, I'd sometimes notice I'd been stressed for hours or days, and I just noticed that sometimes weeks later. And then I would recall the event to feel my way into what that stress felt like. It wasn't until I'd done that repeatedly that I was able to catch the now familiar feeling for me in the moment of stress. Once I was able to catch it, the first thing I'd do is take a long, slow breath in, 4 to 5 seconds, then release my breath for longer, 5 to 6 seconds. I'd repeat, if necessary, until I began to feel calm and stabilized and steady. That sense of calm is our polyvagal system kicking in. Try it so that you can experience the difference for yourself. What you've done at this point is to give yourself the gift of space. Space to shift into a new and better approach toward dealing with stress. I liken it to a step to the left or to the right in order to give yourself a new viewing point. It makes all the difference. Next time, we'll look at the kinds of shifts you might make in living a life that is better and free of worry. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you can take some time to learn how to unstress yourself, and how stress feels for you.